Central Time this Saturday against Maryland, and if you didn't see it, we will be at 2:30 Central Time the following Saturday at Wrigley Field against Iowa. We'll have information for everyone about credentials this week. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, then go into questions. If you have a question after his statement, just go ahead and raise your hand. Coach.
Back in the facility yesterday, and our guys were back at it this morning for morning meetings. Did not get any easier yesterday. Going back and reviewing the film. You have a group that is disappointed in the result. But also very hungry for what's still ahead. And I think you could just see that in the way that our guys are carrying themselves. It's an intense group. It's a group that knows that our best football is still ahead of us, and is anxious to come back later this afternoon and totally shift their frame of mind and focus onto a very good Maryland team that's going to be coming into Ryan Field. So we're gonna learn from Nebraska. We're going to grow, and very confident, very optimistic about what is still in front of this football team.
First question, Dave.
David, you said after the game that the word you used was crushed in describing your team. Is that different than the reaction to some of the games you've lost earlier? And if so, how do you work them through that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is different. I think you have a football team right now that has started to really find their confidence, their identity. There's always been a level of togetherness, but I think that's only grown as the season has gone along. I think you truly saw a team Saturday evening into Sunday that fully expected to win that football game, and left every ounce of their being out on that field. So I think that's where that element of disappointment and a sense of being crushed came from. But you got a group that came back into the facility this morning, is amped up, is ready to grow from it and get better, and that expects to have a great week of preparation moving forward. I think the way that we help them navigate that is just as a coaching staff to embody and carry a great deal of optimism and energy, and also hold ourselves as a coaching staff and hold that the team as a whole accountable to all the little things we need to continue to improve upon to win games in the Big Ten.
Coach, kind of through 7 games now through this season, it feels like the same issues have kind of plagued your red zone offense, not getting after the quarterback, not pass blocking. How would you assess and evaluate those facets of the game, and how do you feel like you've seen those improve at all throughout the season so far?
Yeah, there's been elements in terms of our protection offensively that have been clicking for sure. You look at the Minnesota game and some of the things that we were able to do in the second half. A lot of that had to do with our ability to protect the passer. An operation like Penn State, an operation like Nebraska, very aggressive, very pressure oriented. Those are areas that we need to continue to improve upon. In terms of affecting the quarterback defensively, there's certainly been some bright spots of guys being able to get after the quarterback. Nebraska didn't give us a whole lot of opportunities to do that on Saturday, but those are two areas that will continue to be points of emphasis: protecting our quarterback and finding ways to affect our opponent's quarterback.
Coach, you gave a shout out to the specialists this morning, and Renner, Hulkyard, and Olsen. They're always a pretty consistent group, but why are you giving them the extra props this week today? Their performance, was warranted it. The way that those guys performed in terms of being able to create advantageous field position. Jack being able to get us on the board even on that missed field goal that came up just short. Will with his operation from a snapping standpoint. All critical things that often get overlooked or taken for granted, and those guys are a model of consistency in terms of their preparation. So probably something that we could point out every single week, but especially this week, they deserved an extra little pat on the back.
Coach, Jackson Carcel got the start at center this week. What was the decision making behind that? And is it expected that Jackson will remain at center for the rest of the season?
We'll evaluate that day to day. A decision hasn't been made on that just yet, but Jackson had a great 2 weeks of practice, and his performance in practice merited an opportunity for him to start.
Coach, is there any update on Ben Bryant?
At this point, there's not. We're taking it day to day. We're very confident that Ben will be back at some point this season. It's just kind of a fickle deal that he's working through, and hopeful that he's healthy sooner than later. But we're taking it day to day, and for that young man, you can just see the level of frustration that he's dealing with. He's hungry to get back, but at this point, no update. Taking it day to day.
After the Penn State game, you said that there was no long-term concern for an injury for Ben. Now it looks like he might be about to miss a month or more. Is that something was that a strategic decision? Is that an issue of rehab not going as planned, re-aggravating? Has he been practicing? What has changed between now and then?
Nothing's changed. Just an optimism from our standpoint that if we approach this with a mentality that guys are going to get back as soon as possible, and also never putting guys out on the field until they're fully ready to go. So we're going to stay optimistic with our rehab approach, and keep certain elements of that information in house and take it day to day.
Coach, after watching the tape, how would you evaluate your offense this past weekend, especially Brendan Sullivan?
I thought Sully battled his tail off, and found ways to create some plays. That completion down to AJ, the completion to Kurtz under intense pressure, moving his feet, sliding in the pocket, finding a way to get that ball off. We got to do a better job of protecting Sully and putting him in situations where he can feel really clean in the pocket, step into some throws, and create some rhythm.
Coach, as you go through your prep for Maryland, what challenges is that offense, and specifically Talia, talking about low post?
They're really good. They're really good. Well-structured run game. A bunch of juniors and seniors up front with the offensive line that understand what they're trying to accomplish. A very deep, talented wide receiver room, and a quarterback that operates at an extremely high level. Just the way that he processes information, scans the field, understands coverages, understands how to attack coverages with the pass concepts that they're utilizing. As you continue to watch the cut-ups and watch the film, it's an impressive operation. It's no surprise that they're averaging over 30 points a game, and it'll be a great challenge for our defense.
Well-structured run game. Roman Hemby ran for 180 yards against Northwestern last year. Have you watched tape at all from that? Is there anything you can gather from that game?
Yeah, no, have watched the tape. Again, little bit different operation last year, just with who they had starting at quarterback in our matchup last year, but still, just well structured. They do a good job of mixing, inside zone, outside zone, some gap scheme. Enough element of quarterback run game that keeps you honest. It's well balanced. It's well thought out. They utilize tempo in certain situations that can stress you. Well coached operation with really good personnel.
Coach, I know you kind of seem to take more of a hands-off approach to the offense this year, but when you go back and watch the tape from the red zone and enemy territory from Saturday, was there any conversation kind of you initiated with Coach Bujakin about trying to get better in that area and your input in that?
Yeah, I know. Those conversations happen weekly, whether it be the positives that I'm identifying or the things that we need to improve upon, especially early in the week, and then as Mike and I connect throughout the week. There's not a single person in this facility that doesn't want to see that area of our offense and operation continue to improve. At the end of the day, as you evaluate those scenarios, we certainly have to execute, but we have to find ways to just keep the ball and the chains moving forward. Too many times this season when we've positioned ourselves either through simply field position or explosive plays after AJ's big catch, we find ourselves in situations where we're behind the sticks, the ball's going backwards, and now all of a sudden we're out of rhythm. And those are things that,
Mike and I have had conversations about, and we're taking active steps to, tweak some things to ensure that that area of our offense improves.
Kind of like Brad said, it seemed like there was kind of a firewall between you and the offense at the start of the season. Then you mentioned weekly conversations with Coach Bajakian. What are conversations like with him in game to try to fix some of those issues you're having with the offense?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, considering the context of the situation and the way all this happened, I was never going to be a micromanager of the offense. The conversation and consistency with those conversations, has not changed. It's Sunday conversations post game. It's check-ins throughout the week with a very thorough check-in, on Friday, and a trust that Mike and the offensive staff is going to put our guys in the best situation to win games. In game, it's more strategy, time management, conversations about things that I'm seeing from a standpoint, that second to last drive of the second half, a very effective drive in terms of our run game and some of the things that were set up with some of the, Trey Tyus really got going. Just simple comments of like, hey man, Mike, you keep rolling with it. Trey's running the ball really well right now. But at the end of the day, I know from calling defense for a long period of time, one of the worst things you can do as a head coach is be too involved, especially when the offense or defense is on the field. You got to trust that a play caller is going to find a rhythm, and the worst thing you can do as an offensive or a head coach is in series be too involved where you don't allow that play caller to stay in rhythm and just do their job.
But going off of something you just said there about keeping Trey involved, Trey had 6 carries for 63 yards with a big run, and then didn't see much action the rest of the game. So was that a conversation that took place, and then kind of like, was he just not necessarily responding to that feedback?
No, I'm not mandating, who's in, who's out. I mean, I trust our offensive staff to make in-game adjustments and decisions as they continue to manage our offense. But I'm going to continue to give feedback on the things that I'm seeing, specifically from my role as a head coach, and also my years of experience as a defensive coordinator on things that stress a defense, that hopefully provide the offensive staff with information that can help them continue to move the ball.
Coach, besides the one big play, the defense only gave up around 40 yards passing this entire game. What do you see from the secondary as they progress throughout the year, especially going against one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten this week?
Yeah, no, I think you see a group that's continuing to find more and more confidence. Just finding a certain rhythm with one another. I think you find a group that is becoming more and more comfortable in the scheme that we're utilizing. You find a group that is responding to some challenges we put in front of them in terms of being more ball aggressive and having an attitude that when the ball is in the air, it's our ball. And, at the end of the day, what a great challenge for us coming in here with Maryland, a very, very productive, efficient pass game that will challenge us, in every facet of their passing game, whether it be RPO, drop back pass, quick game, screen game, very well structured.
Coach, I believe you guys are set to have a blackout game against Maryland this weekend. I believe, Mark, 3 straight games you guys were in black at home. I know there are some Northwestern fans that kind of want you guys to be in the purple at home. Do you have any input on what color you guys are wearing, or any thoughts on those who feel like you guys should better represent the university's colors?
That is a question that I don't feel positioned to answer right now. I'm going to continue to stay in my lane, and as I continue to grow in this role, maybe I'll continue to collect information, and as I become more informed, have a more convicted opinion on that.
David?
Coach, Thomas Gordon, as you just talked about on the play with Lausch after the big AJ, has a cut block that sent you guys back 15 yards. Is there a conversation about, hey, that's the backside of the play, you don't need to go low and give the referees any chance to throw the flag and just base block instead?
The conversation is eliminating gray, and all the call came back to his pre-snap as he shifted his alignment. Earlier in the game when we had the same shift on, we did not give any gray for the official. We were clearly within the tackle box. As Thomas shifted back in,
You could argue it in, round and round about whether it was legal or not based on his pre-snap, but there was certainly an element of gray. And the conversation that we've had as a staff and as a team is that we continue to move forward. We're going to take 100% responsibility. We're going to take extreme ownership, and we're not going to point the finger at outside, influences that we can't control. And officials are part of that. They're doing their best to call the game. He's got to do a good job of getting himself clearly within the tackle box and then execute his assignment. If he gets his alignment in an area that there is no gray, there's no issue on that play.
Coach, seems like Brendan Sullivan's poised to start his third game. How have you worked? First of all, what have you seen from him so far this season? And then how have you worked to instill confidence in someone who started the season as a backup and has now been thrust back into a starting role?
I think you just continue to build off of some of the things that we're seeing in practice. He's continued to get better and better each week. And, I see a young man that battles, and that's all you can ask out of your quarterback. I'm confident. Our group is confident. We're going to continue to improve. We're going to continue to find ways to protect Sully, in the passing game. And, as long as he continues to trend in the direction he's trending right now, very confident that Brendan Sullivan's going to find ways to help us, win a lot of games moving forward.
Coach, Cam Porter had a little bit more of a limited role on Saturday, more of a running back by committee approach. And this late in the season into senior year, what kind of messages have you been sending him to keep his spirits high, even as you guys kind of try working some different backs?
I had an opportunity to visit with Cam, earlier today a couple times. He is the ultimate team player, the ultimate captain, embodies selflessness. And, at the end of the day, would Cam like to touch the ball 30 times a game and rush for 140 yards every week? Absolutely, because he's the ultimate competitor. But Cam is always going to put the team first and embodies what this program's all about. I think the encouragement to Cam is very simple and very straightforward. Just keep being you, man. He is a huge reason why this team is positioned to still do great things in the second half.
David?
Coach, after the last 3 losses, you guys bounced back with three wins. What about this resilience of this group allows you guys to come back after a tough loss and bring out a victory?
It's just the character of the group. I think it's we all know this is a unique season for a lot of different reasons, and I think you got a group that just steps back in the facility, owns the previous week, and then goes and attacks the next opportunity, and fully expect us to do the same this week.
How have experienced players like Rod Hurd or who had a pick and Coco Ozma who delivered some pretty serious hits, how have experienced players like that really helped you turn around and coach a defense in your first year as a head coach?
Yeah, no, it's a credit to our players. It's a credit to that defensive staff. Again, unique circumstances, but what I can tell you is, the amount of times that our players, I'll ask someone in our team room, hey, how are you doing this morning? And great, coach, how are you? The amount of times that guys are honestly asking me that question right back. It is so easy to get into this facility and be around our guys and just go pour everything you got into them and coach them hard and mentor them and spend time with them and pour into them just because they're just, Coco. The way that dude plays the game, all you got to do is turn on the film. It's contagious. It's energizing. It's awesome. And, it makes it awfully fun to coach this group. He's not the only one. Very, very easy to show up every day and just go to work with these guys.
And with another Big Ten loss, path towards a Big Ten West title became a little more difficult. Kind of how do you continue to evaluate and set goals for this team?
The goal moving forward is find a way to beat Maryland. And we're in the third quarter of our season. We got to set the stage for how we're going to move forward. But all of our efforts and energy have to go into finding a way to get a win back at Ryan Field, which is an opportunity that we're really excited about, Matt.
Thanks,
Thanks everyone.
So